Now, before we get started, I would really love if you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get the latest content from the YouTube channel, The Last Rewind. And don't be shy about leaving your comments at the bottom of the page because you are the sole reason why this channel will be successful. Thank you.
What's going on, everyone? This is Tremaine coming to you from The Last Rewind. Before I get into this video, like every other video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This video, I'm going to go into the character of Roman Reigns in the WWE. As you can see, I got my Acknowledge Me shirt, got the belt in the background. I have been following this character since the Tribal Chief character, not the Big Dog. I've been following this character since about 2019-ish, maybe 2020-ish, when it started to get popping, off. And as a fan, of the WWE and as a fan of the entertainment that they put out, I can honestly say the Roman Reigns character, in my opinion, has saved the WWE. It has. I mean, there is so much stemming from the Roman Reigns character, and it's ongoing. It's ongoing to the point where it lasts when he's not even there. As we all know, Roman Reigns was defeated by Cody Rhodes at this past WrestleMania, and he was out for a while. He recently made his return, maybe 2 weeks ago at SummerSlam. This is how meaningful this character is to the WWE, and not, in my opinion, not just WWE, but wrestling in general. Roman Reigns is a face now. He returned as a face, but he is still over. He is still over. The same people who booed him as a bad guy, they like him now as a face. He is still over. This character, the Tribal Chief, is ongoing. Now he has a new moniker, and it's the OTC. And I guess that could stand for Original Tribal Chief or Only Tribal Chief, whichever one you want to go by. He has a shirt that says OTC, which I'm actually thinking about getting because that is actually part of my initials, but here nor there. But the character himself, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief character, has been monumental for the WWE. Let's just go back with it. So he was champion for 1,316 days. That's I believe that was the fourth longest streak since 1988, if memory serves correct. He was champion for 1,316 days, and he was a heel throughout that run. But it was such good quality entertainment. It was ongoing. The storyline and the storytelling within that character was ongoing. It was so good. I'm gonna get into that a little later. Therefore, it started the bloodline. The bloodline originally was just Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. Dare I say just Paul Heyman in the beginning, but then Jey Uso came along. And if you recall, it was when Jey Uso was basically Roman Reigns' right-hand man, just helping him win matches and cheating for him. But it built up. It built up. That was around October when Jey Uso became part of the bloodline. So at Payback 2020, it was a pay-per-view called Payback 2020, Roman Reigns returned. No, I'm sorry, he didn't return. He returned at SummerSlam 2020. But at Payback 2020, there was a match. It was a triple threat match, and it was The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, rest in peace, and Braun Strowman, which ironically was released and came back all within the reign of the Bloodline, and Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. I remember this clearly. Roman Reigns kind of had an unconventional method in the match. He signed the contract as he was walking down to the ring, went into the ring. Um, I believe he speared Braun Strowman, won the belt, and that was the start of the reign. And he pinned and he beat um, Braun Strowman for the title. That's when he got the belt. Then there was WrestleMania 38 is when he unified the titles and he beat Brock Lesnar. This is ongoing. This is 2 years later because that was in 2022. From there, it was ongoing as far as the creativity and the storyline. To me, every storyline or every storyline that was worth anything kind of around that time kind of centered around the Bloodline. At one point, the New Day had a angle with Jimmy and Jay, and I believe Big E was a champion, and he had an angle with Roman Reigns. So they worked that. I remember, Brock Lesnar, obviously they had to tie in with Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman being the manager. He was the manager of Brock Lesnar. He was the manager of Roman Reigns. So Paul Heyman's loyalty became a question, and they worked that in there. I don't believe the Roman Reigns character of the tribal chief gets as much appreciation as it should if you are a wrestling fan, because again, in my opinion, he saved the WWE from this boring product to watch. I remember before the Bloodline got popping, and the Bloodline primarily was on SmackDown. However, you still watch both products because they somehow tie them into even Raw. And that was the example of the New Day. But before the Bloodline was just anything and popping, they had storylines like, I believe Bobby Lashley was dating Lana and Rusev. Nothing was going good. No, it was weak storylines, and it was boring for the most part. They were. I do believe Roman Reigns saved at the time, the WWE from drowning, from going into this pool of irrelevance. So what happens? He goes on, he defeats everyone, man. You from 2020 until 2024, until Cody Rhodes beat him at Dispatches WrestleMania. Roman Reigns beat him from Edge, for Brock Lesnar a couple times, man. Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, everyone who was in his path, he beat. I remember there was a storyline with Riddle at one point. Just every storyline, every relevant storyline in the WWE the past 4 years involved Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, and that is partially Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns came up with the character. He didn't do all the writing, the storytelling. I give a lot of credit to that with Triple H. I give Triple H a lot of credit to that. I believe Triple H, as far as marketing and just making sure the story is told properly, it did a tremendous job with that. Did a tremendous job with that. Sorry, it was a glitch in my camera, but the Bloodline has reigned supreme for 4 years, and they're still going. And now what they're doing? What are they doing now? They got Solo, who is, I guess, supposedly the new tribal chief. We're gonna see how that goes. But Roman Reigns is back now. Roman Reigns is coming to take his throne. So if you are a frequent watcher of the product, you probably can see what's gonna happen. Roman Reigns is more than likely gonna get with Jimmy and Jay, get the band back together, and they're gonna go with the original bloodline. I wouldn't be surprised if Sami Zayn is thrown in there too. Do remember, Sami Zayn was the honorary Uso, but this was peak bloodline. Sami Zayn was the honorary Uso, and the promos, the promos were just mwah. Like Roman Reigns came a long way with cutting promo. And I had this conversation with my co-host Red, and I believe the best thing that happened with Roman Reigns in his WWE career, unfortunately, was COVID. Hear what I mean by that? Because when COVID happened, they had this Thunderdome shit in the WWE where no fans was allowed, but they were still getting the product off virtually. There was no one in the building. At that time, Roman Reigns was getting booed out the damn building every single night. I believe what happened was it allowed him to do what he does without the fans there to boo him, and it created an element of the better bad. It created an element of him being the better bad guy. Because when the fans came back, now he was getting booed for a different reason. Now, before he was getting booed because he was trying too hard to be the bad guy, and it was fake and it was phony. When the fans came back, he was getting booed because he was then a good bad guy, and they didn't like him. I would say it to this day. Roman Reigns' character development is has been one for the books. He's gone for a long way. Shield, the Big Dog, Tribal Chief, and I now I guess it's the OTC, Original Tribal Chief. But his character development has came a long way, and he was getting booed for the reason of like WWE fans don't want to feel insulted, and they feel like if you're shoving the product down our face, they're gonna boo it. And that's what it was with Roman Reigns. I think at that point, WWE wanted Roman Reigns to be over so bad that they just kept giving us Roman Reigns.
You are a sniveling little suck-up sellout full of suffering succotash, son.
It was when he was the big dog. He had a couple run-ins with Cena. And they just forcibly shoved Roman Reigns down our throats. And then COVID happens. They dialed it back a bit, but there was no one in the crowd. So therefore, it didn't seem as forced. But when the crowd came back, now he is a bad guy, but he's the bad guy that the crowd likes. In wrestling, there is the bad guy that the crowd likes, and then there's the bad guy that the crowd doesn't like because the company is forcing that bad guy on them. It got to be organic in WWE. It has to feel natural, and the separation of the fans due to COVID really helped Roman Reigns' career and helped him get to where I believe where he is now as far as the Tribal Chief. I became a fan of the Tribal Chief era and the Bloodline era. It was entertaining. It was funny. It kept you on edge. You didn't know whether or not what was going to happen. Even if you felt like Roman Reigns was going to lose the belt, you had this sense of the match was still going to be entertaining, especially if it was a pay-per-view. His promos were superb during this time frame. Let's see here. Yeah. So, like I say, in October, Jay pretty much joins the bloodline. And then Jimmy comes along. And then Solo comes along, and then the honorary Sami Zayn comes along. And I want to say around 2022, maybe October-ish 2022, you had peak bloodline. You had Paul Heyman, the entrance in WWE. Your entrance tells a lot about your character and your character development. The entrance, the bloodline entrance, the Roman Reigns theme song, it slaps to this day. If you Google and you will see people mimicking the Roman Reigns entrance. Like for celebratory moments in their life, whether like it's a wedding or it's a graduation, they're mimicking that entrance. I believe that is probably one of the greatest entrances in WWE history now. That's the bloodline entrance. I mean, it's the music, it's the pyro, it's the slow walk, it's the flowers on his neck. It's the overall how he carries it. Roman Reigns really brought that character to life. And what is also special about that character is that, and he said this in his documentary, is that he's not the only person who benefited from that character. Jimmy and Jay, yeah, they were doing the Uso brothers thing, and they were tag champions, and they were doing the lockdown thing day one, but their character has benefited tremendously from the bloodline. So did Solo. So did Sami. So did Sami Zayn. And a lot of credit goes to Roman Reigns. I'll say Paul Heyman and Triple H. That storyline has been brilliant, and I wanted to make this. I wanted to make this show and this episode because I don't feel like Roman Reigns gets the credit that he deserves for single-handedly making the product watchable from 2020 until now. I know Cody Rhodes came along, and when Cody Rhodes won that belt this past WrestleMania, I said this is the worst thing that can happen to Cody Rhodes, because now you have to live up to what was probably the best era in wrestling. And he hasn't lived up to it, which is why Roman is already back on TV. The WWE needs Roman Reigns on TV because as good as Cody Rhodes is, he just doesn't have that draw that Roman Reigns has. He doesn't have that swagger, that style that Roman Reigns has. And whether or not you booed Roman Reigns or you cheered Roman Reigns, you wanted to see Roman Reigns every Friday or even Monday when he was on Raw. And then there was the element of, oh, he's not here this week, so you wait. But even with him not being there on some episodes of SmackDown, his presence was still felt, through phone calls with Paul Heyman, or they'll mention him in skits. His presence was still felt on the show, which in turn tells you that that character was just superb throughout an entire, I'm gonna say about 4 years. And now he's back, and in the future he's gonna get a rematch with Cody Rhodes. I believe first he's gonna attack Solo to lay claim to the original tribal chief. But I do think he's gonna go for a rematch with Cody Rhodes. In my opinion, I think the rematch is a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea for him to win the belt again, though. He's never going to duplicate what he did 4 years ago. He's not going to go on another run like that. That run was needed for the WWE at the time. It was. He's never going to go. He's never going to go on a run like that. I don't think anyone's going to go on a run like that ever. I think for the sake of a good storyline and a good match, he should get a rematch and he should go after Cody Rhodes. but I don't think he should win the match. I don't think he should. I think Roman Reigns' character is solidified now to the point where he doesn't need a belt to be relevant. There are certain wrestlers that don't need a belt at this stage in their career to be relevant. Cody Rhodes is one. He needs that belt to have some kind of relevancy still. Roman Reigns doesn't need a belt to be relevant. Orton doesn't need a belt to be relevant. Seth Rollins doesn't need a belt to be relevant. CM Punk, at this point in his career, doesn't need a belt to be relevant. Their character is already strong enough. Their character is relevant enough. They don't need, in fact, it's kind of, in a weird way, not an insult, but it's kind of like, I'm not gonna say demeaning either, but it's a weird feeling if they put a belt on them at this point because they don't need it, especially depending on the belt. You don't want to see Roman Reigns with the U.S. title or the IC title. Those are mid-card belts. The only title Roman Reigns can hold that is somewhat meaningful is the heavyweight championship title. He cannot go down to those other titles. Same for Seth Rollins, same for CM Punk, same for Randy Orton, and only one of them can be the champion. If they hold one of those titles, that means they're trying to, I don't know, like wrap it up or fulfill some dream that they never got before, but that they never received it before. Like I remember when Flair won the IC title later in his career after having been champion 16 times, and it was like a big deal because he had never been the IC champ before. That would be the only reason they either one of those guys would need the belt. Roman Reigns, his character is developed enough to the point where he doesn't need a belt. And I will also say this: we need to enjoy. If you're a Roman Reigns fan and you're a Bloodline fan, probably enjoy this last run because I'm of the mindset that Roman Reigns is going to be winding it down soon as far as WWE. I really do believe that. I believe maybe 2025 may be his last, I don't know, hoorah. No, he'll have one more year after 2025 because Cena is having his last little farewell tour in 2025, and that's going to be all about Cena. But I do believe Roman Reigns is going to tone it down now. I also believe they're going to tie in Roman Reigns with Cena and Cena's little last farewell tour in 2025. That's going to be some good quality storytelling and creativity in the matches as well. But overall, got to give Roman Reigns credit for the story development, the character development. I mean, if you watch from his Shield days, the Big Dog days, to even when he started with Paul Heyman in around 2020 to now, you can see the character develop. You can see things he did then and he don't do now, or vice versa. You can hear the character. You can hear the promo development as he gives his promos. It's far better than what he's always done. Roman Reigns has came a long way, and as far as his character development, his story line, his storytelling, even in the match when you're a good wrestler, when you have the ability to tell the story without using words. An example of that is I remember Brock Lesnar was standing on the tractor. He threw the microphone at Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns caught it and winked at him. Didn't say a word, but that is his character. And that is an example of how his character just came out on the screen. And that's what the WWE is about. If you're a fan of the WWE like I am, you like character development, you like promos, and you like good quality matches. And yeah, Roman Reigns did cheat for the most part of his reign as a champion, but they were still entertaining and quality matches. So I just wanted to get up here and say that because, you know, I bought this right here during the Roman Reigns era. Well, it was a Christmas gift. My wife got it for me, but it was during the Roman Reigns era. I purposely wanted to get this during the Roman Reigns era because I wanted this particular belt because it reminds me. It's always going to remind me of one of the greatest eras in wrestling, and that was the Bloodline era, 2020 to 2024. It's going to be another era. They're going to keep going, but that 2020 2024 was a great era for wrestling, and that era for wrestling in the WWE, that is thanks to Roman Reigns, specifically to Roman Reigns. The development of the bloodline and the development of the character of Roman Reigns, the tribal chief. That's when I got the belt. That's when I got the shirt, and I'm going to get the new shirt. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.